Hi. All right, so welcome to class. Today we're going to go through, just do another lecture related to select queries. So we're going to look at some operators, comparison operators. We're going to look at the between and operator. We're going to look at the like operator and how we can use wildcards to basically filter some of our results. Now, if you have the textbook, this material comes from chapter 3 in the book. And specifically, I've got pages 100 to 108 are the pages where this content comes from. So I definitely recommend, if you have the book, you can read through or at least skim through those pages. This topic is pretty simple, so I don't think there will be too many issues you'll have with it, and it is going to be helpful when doing this the current assignment number 2. So I've got my D2L shell open here. I'm going to go to content and lectures, and okay, so I've got these notes posted. Lecture 6, select statements 2, so I'll download this. Okay, all right, so basically this is going to deal with the where statement inside our select statement. So the where optionally filters the results and it reduces the rows based on whatever criteria we place inside the where condition. So obviously we can do something where we use an equality operator. So we can say where book title equals winning basketball, for example, okay, using the equals operator. Or where birthday equals September 20th, okay, we can certainly do that. However, we're going to now look at some other operators such as greater than, less than, not equal to, okay? So, what do we got here? All right, so the first one says, produce the query that will check the books table and display any book that has a retail price of more than $55. So I'm just gonna follow along with some of these. These are all really simple, but I'll follow along and I can do some of these queries in my SQL developer. So I'll create a new SQL file. Okay, and I've got my table here. I want to select all of the books that have a retail more than 55. So select star from B underscore books where, okay, and I should see what the column names are. So retail, that's the one I want, where retail is greater than 55. All right, so let's try that out. Okay, and I can see the results here, and the retail certainly is greater than $55. Okay, so looking back here, they're showing us now the query, and that's the exact same thing I had. Now there is a note here that says we could have used 55.00, but not the $sign. So this is just a syntax issue that because we're working with numbers, that we want to use basically a number representation. We can use a decimal if we want, but putting in like a $sign, or another mistake people might make is to use a comma. So we can simulate those mistakes. If I were to say well, retail is greater than $55, that might seem reasonable. It's probably a common mistake people could make, but it's gonna explode on me. It's not gonna work. And just like if I had, say, a larger number, if I say I had $55,000, so I would go 55,123. Of course, that's not a valid number. So when I run this, it is not going to work. So that's what that comment means there. So we'll just leave it as it was. Okay. All right, now, that example is the typical one where we're using a comparison operator, a math operator, a greater than, less than, with a number. However, we can use these with other data types. So the other data types, of course, are text types, and that's the example they're showing here. We can also use it with dates, which probably is a bit more natural, way to use it. So in this case, they want all books that come alphabetically after the letters H and O. So to do that, they just basically say title is greater than, and then they can put in a string, and only strings that are alphabetically greater will be presented. So we can easily do a simple sample like that. So let's try that out. So title from B_books, where title is greater than. Okay, let's try running that. Oh, right. Yep, single quotes. Okay, and there we go. So basically, all of these titles, alphabetically, they would come after basically the string H and then O, and you can quickly verify and see that that's the case. Okay, next one up. Write a query that displays the title and book profit for all books that have their retail less than 20% of the cost. The book profit is computed by subtracting the cost from the retail. Okay, so this doesn't look right. I'm pretty sure what they mean is that the profit is less than 20% of the cost. Because it doesn't make sense to have a retail. If I buy a book for $1, I'm not going to go charge 19 cents for it. I'm pretty sure that's a bad idea. So I don't really know. I think that's just a typo there. So let's try doing this this query. Title and book profit. Okay. So I would say select title, and then I would say retail minus cost as profit from B_books, where retail minus cost is less than cost times 0.2. Okay, let's try that out. Does not like my syntax there. Let's just see what they have. Okay, so they just say retail minus cost, not as profit, but just profit. Okay. Okay, so there we go. And we get one book, Hand Cranked Computers. Okay. So obviously that book has a low markup. The other books would have a higher markup. So profit there is 3.2. Okay. Okay, and there we see the same results that they have here. So they're saying select the title, retail minus cost, and they're giving it a column name of profit. So when you look at the results, you see the column profit. Now you could omit that. You could just say retail minus cost and run this. And the difference is it'll actually say retail minus cost, which is not very visually appealing. It's harder to read. So you're better off leaving the column name there of profit. Okay, so moving on. Write a query that displays the customer first and last name and state for all customers who live in Georgia or in a state that appears alphabetically before the state of Georgia. All right. So we come here and we're still looking at the bookstore database, and we have a table here, customers. So one of the columns they have is state, and this is varchar 2, and it has a size of 2. So that means it's expecting 2 characters. So the state code is 2. Let's actually look at the data, and we can probably see that the state of Georgia is GA. All right. So I think we can do the query. So they want the customer first and last name and state. So select We have first name, last name, state. Okay, and we're selecting that from B underscore customers, where state is less than Georgia. So alphabetically, it's going to come before the state of Georgia. And let's run that. Okay, so we can see here we got Florida, California. Those are the only states, and alphabetically those certainly do come before Georgia. So I'm pretty confident that we got that one right. Okay, there we go. So state, I made a mistake. State that appears alphabetically before. No, I'm right, they're wrong. So they went less than or equal, so they're gonna return Georgia as well. But the question doesn't call for that. The question says before, alphabetically before. Okay. All right, next up. Produce a query that displays the same as the previous one, but checks for those greater than or equal to Georgia. Okay, I'm not gonna spend too much time changing this, but they're just gonna change it to a greater than or equal sign. So there we can see it, greater than or equal to Georgia, the same query. And now if you look at the states that are returned, they all come alphabetically after Georgia. They also include Georgia as well. All right. Next up, produce a query that displays the same as the previous two, but check for those not equal to Georgia. Okay, so let's quickly do this one, and they're suggesting one way we can do it. So basically, to go not equals, there's your not equal symbol right there. Okay, it's a less than and then a greater than symbol back to back. That's going to be not equal. I'll run this. And what I end up getting, if I look there, those are all the customers except the ones that live in Georgia. Now the other way I can do this is I can go not equal equal according to the notes. And let's run this and see if I get the same results. No, that did not work. Can also be used for not equal. All right, it doesn't seem like it can be. I must be doing something wrong. Okay, so I'm not sure about that. So let's just go with, there we go, not equal, okay? That's what I believe is in the book. So the note there, something is off because I just tested it, it doesn't appear to work. But we know that what does work here, and that is the less than, greater than combination will work. Okay, so next up, to demonstrate use of comparison operators with dates, produce a list of all orders that were placed prior to April 2009. Okay, so we need to look at our orders table. So I'm gonna open up orders. And we see here that we have a order date. And this is gonna be April of 2009. Okay, so let's try to do this query. I'm gonna go select, I'll just go star, didn't specify what columns, from B orders, where order date, okay, let me just double check this again, but prior to. Okay, so order date is less than, and now I have to basically just provide an accurate date string, and it'll get converted into a correct date object when this comparison operator is done. And this is basically called an implicit conversion. So I'm gonna go with, okay, so what is my actual, so the date format, I just remember back here because I ran into that issue when I was creating. My date format was reversed. So the date format is day, month, and then year. So my string is going to be day, which will be 01, dash month, so that's going to be 04, and then 09. Okay, let's try that. And there we go. We can see the order date. These are all before. So we're looking at these three here. These were all ordered on March 31st, 2009. So it looks like I have that correct. Let's see what they have. Yeah, there we go. So, okay, now they didn't select everything. They just went with the order number and order date from orders, but they have the same where statement where order date is less than the 1st of April, 2009. Okay, so we're moving on. The next operator we're going to look at is the between, and we've looked at these in previous classes, of course, but we're just focusing our notes on these today. So between and, that's the operator we're going to use. So this checks a range of values. So you basically give it a start value and an end value. And this range is inclusive. So for example, if I say that I want all restaurants that have a rating between 2 and between 4, that means I'm going to get restaurants with 2, restaurants with 3, and restaurants with 4 because it's inclusive. All right, so here we go. They want us to do, for example, we wish to display all book title and publisher name for all books that have a publisher ID of 1, 2, or 3. Okay, no problem. So we're gonna look at books again, I think, and we have publisher ID, and we have book title. And let's just go back here. So we want to book title, publisher name. Do I have a publisher name? Okay, it doesn't look like I have a publisher name. Okay, let's just do it anyway, and then we'll see what the actual correct answer is. So book title, publisher name. Okay. So we'll go to select title from B_books, where pub ID between, and we wanted 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so between 1 and 3. Okay, so I think that's right. Let's run this. There we go. So these would be all the books that would have that. Now I could also probably include the pub ID just so I can verify that those are the correct results. Run that again. There we go. We can see those published IDs are 1, 2, or 3. Let's see what they came up with. Okay, so they're tricking. They're making it harder by saying I need the publisher name, but they didn't even include it. So title, publisher ID, and there we go. From books between 1 and 3, they get the same results I got. Okay. Now that's of course a numeric column, but you can use this as well with text. You can also use it with dates, just like when we use the comparison operators of greater than or less than. So they're showing us here that alphabetic ranges of titles and books could be queried using between and comparison operator. So this would be an example where all books that fall in the A through D range. So that's inclusive, so that's going to be all books that start with A or come later in the alphabet up until all books that start with D. Anything that comes after D is not going to be included. So if the book is named D, it'll be included, but if it's named D and then anything after, it won't be, okay? And let's just do this one and we can play around with it a little bit to see that. So select title from books, where title between A and D. Okay, so we'll run this, we'll get the same results. Now, we know that it's inclusive. So if I were to go between A and C, all right, just think for a minute what results you expect to get when I run this. And we know that it's inclusive, but we know that cooking with mushrooms, that comes after C in alphabetical order. So I should only get 3 results when I run this. And there we go. It eliminates that last one. All right, let's keep going. So now we're looking at using between and to do a date comparison. So this is an example here where we can look at order dates between basically the 1st of April and 30th of April. So any order that happened in the month of April would be included in this. Okay, so they're saying here range checks can also be accomplished with compound conditionals. I believe what they mean is using the AND operator, basically just two statements, and that's what we covered last class. So let's just do this example here, and then we can show another way to rewrite this. So I've already got this partially done. So I'm saying select. Okay, so I'm just selecting everything from orders where order date is less than April 1st. So I'm going to say I want everything. Let's just take this and we'll go where order date between, and I'm going to say the 1st of April. And I'm going to say the 30th of April. Okay, so let's run that. Okay, so you can see here all the order dates fall within April. That's good. That's what I wanted. Now they're saying you could rewrite this another way. Now you probably wouldn't want to because this is a fairly efficient way to do it. But if you did, we could rewrite this as order date is greater than or equal to the 1st of April and order date is less than or equal to 30th of April. Okay, so we're essentially getting the same results there. So I believe that's what the note means when it says that you can use a compound conditional. Okay, now we can also use not between and to basically see if it's outside a range. So I could easily modify that last example and, oops, just comment this one out. And I'll take this last one I had. So we have order date is between the 1st of April and 30th, but this can be used as well if we want to remove any orders that were done in April. So we can say order date not between, and now we're going to get all orders that exclude April of 2009. And there we go. You can see here we've got a few. These are the 3 from March. All the other ones are from April. All right. Okay, so next up we have the in operator. Now remember, we saw this when we were adding constraints. So we were adding check constraints, for example, and we might say that a check constraint is that the book category has to be in, and then we give it a set of different book categories that it can belong to. And this is a very powerful statement once again. So basically we can filter the results using the in operator as well. And we can say that this column, we only want values that are in, and then we basically specify the values we want. So this example here is going to look for all books that are published by publisher 1, 2, or 5. Now the between operator is pretty good, but the between operator works better when the ranges is a contiguous block. But in this case, it goes 1, 2, but then it skips 3 and 4 and comes back with 5. So the in operator is a little bit more efficient here. Okay. So they're using the in operator in this case with some numerical values. As well, they're using it with some string values, and you can certainly as well use it with date values. So they're just showing us those three different types of data that you can use the in operator with, just like the between and operator. Okay, we better do an example. Okay, so let's use the in operator, and we'll filter based off of the customers. So I can go back here, and I have this example where I'm selecting the first name, last name, and state from B customers where state is not equal to Georgia. So let's just change this. I'm going to go where state in, and now I can give it the values I want. So I'm going to say California, and I will say Florida. Okay, so let's try running this. All right, there we go. We get those states, right? And let's do one more. So we could say we're order date, where we're using between. Let's use the in operator. So I can go order date in, parentheses, and closing parentheses. And I just need to get rid of this and I'll put a comma in, and let's take a quick read of what this is gonna do. So I'm only going to grab orders that are either on the 1st of April or the 30th of April in this case. Let's try running that. Okay, and we can see here we have 4 orders that were done on the 1st of April. Now let's just modify this slightly. So let's change this to the 31st of March because I know that there are some orders there, and let's run this again. Okay, and now we include those ones as well. That we have 3 of them that were ordered on the 31st of March, and we have 4 that are ordered on the 1st of April. All right. Okay, of course, we can also use the not in to check if it's outside a list of values. So let's just quickly do that. If I go to my example here for states, I'm selecting, I'll just run this again quickly. I'm just grabbing everyone who's in Florida or California, but I can say state not in Florida or California and run that. And of course, I'm gonna get everyone else. So you can see all the other states there, and we don't see Florida or California listed. Okay, so I think the last topic we're gonna do today is basically using the like statement. So that allows us to basically use wildcard characters to filter text. So this doesn't apply to dates, and it doesn't apply to numbers. The like operator is only used on text columns. And there's 2 wildcards which we use. The first one is the %, and this represents 0 or many characters. The other one is the underscore, and this represents 1 character. Now, when I say represents a character, I mean it can be any character. So basically, it's kind of like a blank space, and in the case if it's a %, it can be many blank spaces, 0 or more. When you use the underscore, it has to be a singular character in that position. So with these, we can do some more powerful, basically string comparisons using the like operator. So this first one here, it's display all customers whose last name starts with P. So they're saying where last name like, and the first character is P, and then after that is a %. So basically that's gonna match any string that starts with that uppercase P. After that, you could have no characters, or you could have many characters. It doesn't matter, the % is gonna take care of that. Now, the pattern checks are case sensitive. So if you put a lowercase p, that is going to basically select a different columns based off of the case of that first letter. Okay, it's asking us a question here. What would display if we change the search to %p%? So I don't know if you guys want to think about that, but the answer there is that will return any string that has an uppercase P in it anywhere in the string, okay? Because you can have 0 or more of any type of character followed by a P, and then followed by 0 or more of any other character. So that's going to return a string with a capital P anywhere in it. All right, next up, okay, we have an example we can do. Display customer information for all customers whose customer numbers have a 1 in its first position, a 0 in its second position, and a 9 in its fourth position. So they're basically saying the third position can have anything. Remember that customer number is numeric 4. Okay, so that means that the customer number column can only contain 4 digits, or 4 customer number. It's text. It can only have 4 characters in it. All right, so let's take a look at our customer table, and we have a customer number, and the customer number, okay, it's a type number, and it is 4 and 0. Okay, so I guess I was wrong. I said earlier that we can only use the like operator on text, but it appears we can use it on number types as well. All right, so let's try this query. Okay, so select B. Okay, so we have customer number like, and now I'm going to go, the values that I want are a 1, a 0, so 1 in its first position, 0 in its second, 9 in its fourth. So all I have to do for that is 1, 0, and I use an underscore there because that's going to force there to be one character. It can be any character I want, and then the last one is going to be 9, and I will run this. Okay, and there we go. So we get 2 values, 1, 0, 0, 9, and 1, 0, 1, 9. Okay, and there's the same result that we have. Display ISBN and book title for all books whose ISBN has 4 as its second character and ends in a 0. Okay. So we're looking at the book table again, I believe. We have an ISBN column, which is varchar, 10 bytes, so a maximum size of 10 characters. And I want to display the book title. Okay. So ISBN like, and it's the second character has to be 4, and it ends in a 0. So I'm going to go with an underscore because we know that there has to be a character that comes before the 4, which I'll put there, and then it has to end in a 0. So that means I can have 0 or more of all kinds of different characters, and then I end it in a 0. So there we go. We've got 2 books, and the ISBN here, both of these have 4 as their second character, and the last character ends in a 0. Okay, and there we go. It's the same thing that I have. Okay. All right, in-class exercises. Assume we have a field called feature, which contains the name of newspaper features, EX, sports, editorial, obituaries. Give the where clause to do the following. List all features that begin with the letters MO. Okay, so you would just go MO, like, single quote, MO, and then you would have % after, which allows, it could be MO and that could be the end, or it could be MOVIES, or it could be anything. So MO and then a % at the end, that would take care of the first one. Next one is list all features that have I in its third position. So in that case, you would go like, single quote, underscore, underscore that takes up the first 2 positions. Then the third position would be I, and then you would have a percent sign after that because there can be 0 or more characters that come after that. All right, last one is list all features that contain 2 lowercase o's anywhere in its text. All right, so this one would be like, single quote, and then you would go percent sign, 0, percent sign, 0, percent sign. So those are the answers for those two, and I might as well type them out. So first one would be where, what was it? Category, feature. Okay. Or feature, like, and the first one is going to be MO, percent. The next one would be where feature, like, was underscore, underscore I, and then percent, I believe. And then the last one was where feature, like, and this one has to have 2 O's in it. So you would go percent O, O, percent O, percent. Okay, there we go. I'll just quickly check those. Yeah, that looks right. All right, so we're almost done here. The last topic, it just deals with basically escape characters. And that comes into play if we wanted to actually search for a percent sign or an underscore in the string. Because these are special characters that have special meaning, if we try to search for them, we're going to run into all kinds of problems. So in other words, if we do need to perform one of these searches that searches for the percent, searches for the underscore, we have to do an operation called escaping a character. In this case, either the percent or the underscore. We have to escape it. Now, typically, the escape character in SQL is a backslash. And you can see that right here. That they're showing the escape character backslash to accomplish this. I think they're missing the word use. Now, there is an environment variable, so I can run this and see show escape. Let's see if this works. Show escape. Escape off. Okay, so what does that mean? That means that I don't have an escape character. So I need to type set escape on. Okay, if it's on, then the default escape is, okay. So in other words, I don't have an escape character. So if I tried to do these examples right now, I'm gonna get errors because the escape character is turned off. So I could type in set escape on, and that is going to then basically allow me to do those examples. The other option is when I do my like statement, I could, after I do like and then I do my string, I could then say escape and then tell them what the escape character is. So that's another possible way to do it. Okay, so we're gonna do one example here. They have this testing table. So you'll notice one of the characters there is a percent. So we can practice doing a string, a like operation to find any t values that start with a percent. So I'll just do the same thing they have. So select star from testing. Uh-oh. Is it B underscore test? It is B underscore testing. Okay. Okay, so there we go. We have all those values, and let's see here. Okay. Okay, let's just, I don't know what, they have a crazy example there. Let's just do one right now. We're gonna search for any t values that start with a percent. So I'm gonna say t value from B testing, where t value like, okay, So I want to find percent. So I'm going to go backslash percent. So that's going to get the job done. Now I think I will have an error though. Okay, so it just doesn't find anything. So a few options I have. I could turn on the escape, or I could type in escape and I'll specify the escape character I want. So let's do that. I'm going to say escape backslash. Let's run this now. And there we go. It now works. Now, because I can specify the escape character, I could put in any character I want. So I could put in a character of, there we go. And now I'll come here and I'll replace that with the character I'm escaping it with. And I'll get the same result. Okay. Okay, so let's do a quick rundown here of the escape character. So basically when I say set escape off, then that's going to basically turn off the escape character. So there's no default escape character. Now, if I want, let's just do a really simple example. I'm going to select everything from the testing table. So I'll run this. You can see there, those are the t-value columns. Now, I'll put a comma here, and I'm going to now put in a string. So I'm going to say Eric and stock. Now, last class, I think it was last one, it was a recent one, we noticed that that character, the ampersand, is used for substitution variables if we want to get user input. So now when I run this is going to ask me for a value, okay? But that's not what I want. I want it to actually show that character. So this is where I could use the backslash escape character. But now, of course, when I run it, I'm still getting this. So what I need to do is I need to say set escape on, okay? And I'll run this to set the escape character on. Now it's set. The default when you set it to on is the backslash. So now when I run this, okay, it basically, now it does not interpret the ampersand character. Instead, it just places it in the string, which is what I want. All right. So we got that taken care of. Now, when we come back here for the like, if I want to actually search for the percent character, because I noticed the first value has it, unfortunately, it doesn't work quite the way you would expect. I've tried this out, and even though I have the escape character on, it doesn't properly escape. So let's just run this, and hopefully you can see what I mean. Basically, it returns all the results. I would have hoped that by escaping the percent sign, that it would force it to look for a text that starts with a percent sign. But basically what that does is it ends up effectively ignoring the backslash. I'm not sure why it does that, but it doesn't matter, because what we should do is go escape, and now we're going to put in our backslash character here. Now to do that, I do need to turn the escape character off, I believe. And now when I run this, oh, darn it. Okay. Okay, and now when I run this, there we go. So basically it's using the escape character properly because I've specified it in the where clause, and it's selecting only the entry that begins with a percent sign. Now let's just try turning the escapes character back on. And now I'll run this. And yeah, now I get an error. So the behavior here is a little bit weird. So this needs to be off in order for me to be able to do this select statement properly. Okay, there we go. All right, so I was just looking some of this stuff up online. All right, so that pretty much concludes the lesson for today. So these exercises should help you with the current assignment. Please continue working on the current assignment. Okay, well have a great rest of the day. Bye.